Let's talk to Edmunds.com in Santa Monica, California, where they track all the goings-on in this space. Jeremy Anwyl with the company with a view on the market. Jeremy, a good afternoon to you. What's the main takeaway? If you had to boil it down and distill it into one takeaway from the sales figures, what was it? People downgrading, people going down market, people going for basic rides, or what would you call it?
Well, I think the one thing that's been the thread all year has been the consumer desire for value, and we certainly saw that in December. There was a lot of year-end special events, and they brought consumers out, so December ended up being the second best month of the year. Still a very bad month, though, by historical standards. Are we getting slowly back to health? Is that what we're seeing? I mean, we're way under in all of 2009 in terms of the annual sales. Do you think that 2010 is going to be a bounce-back year for cars? Well, bounce sounds awfully strong. I think that this slow path to recovery is going to continue, but I think there's still a lot of weakness in the market. We're already looking at January sales, and I think that right now the trend would be that they would actually be down from December. So this is not a straight pathway in one direction or the other.
In terms of the Asian car makers, you know, time was that people veered to something like a Hyundai from Korea because they have the longest warranties, or did have the longest warranties at one point in the industry, like 100,000-mile, 10-year limited warranty. I think it was unlimited for the powertrain. I mean, you know, that's great to sell a car, to offer an incentive like that, but you know, when the bill comes due and the repairs come due, then you start getting nicked away on expenditures for maintenance and keeping your word on those. Are we going to see the incentives going up? I noticed that Chrysler is offering 5-year zero-interest financing once again.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Hyundai, and they are one of the sort of the bright stories this last year. Their sales actually being up in the United States, but it really goes back to value. And I think the warranty is a good story for consumers worried about the risk of buying a Hyundai. But the fundamental reason I think they did so well is that they stand for value just as part of their brand, and that is the, as I said earlier, that's the single thread that's been running through this marketplace. People are looking for value because they're feeling economic distress.
You know, you know, I'm right here on the doorstep of mainland China, and there's been a lot of buzz in the past quarter or so about how China is overtaking the U.S., if it hasn't already, as the #1 car market in the world. To what degree are the woes in the domestic American market being offset by emerging market demand? I don't know if you've been to Beijing or Shanghai recently, but man, you see a hell of a lot of Buicks plying the roads there.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the ironies. Buick's very popular in China. A couple things I think are interesting to note. As you pointed out, China is arguably the largest car market in the world, but it is a lower-end car, so the profits aren't necessarily there. But I think there's also a note of caution that I'd kind of throw out there, because the impact of the North American market hasn't really been felt. And by that I mean that the Chinese manufacturers are not selling in the United States yet, but I think it's just a matter of time. So as they develop the expertise, really refined in the home market, at some point they will start to export to North America, and that could really upset the apple cart here.
Okay. And what's your best bet for 2010? What do you think is going to be the main theme? Will it be continued seeking of value by consumers, or do you think people will get sick of self-imposed austerity, and might we see a little more movement in the upper end brands?
I think there's still a lot of weakness. I mean, consumers are still feeling economic distress. There's this whole deleveraging thing going on that everyone's talking about, and I've got to believe that for 2010, just like 2009, the single biggest theme is going to be consumers' desire for value.
Jeremy, great talking to you. Have a great rest of your day and the week, and we'll talk to you many times more in the new year.